On this week's episode of the Heating Up podcast, it is officially March Madness time. But before we break down our brackets, we're talking through the Premier League. We're going over our NFL updates, and then we are bringing back our favorite new segment, Heat Check, after going 3-0 last week. So we are keeping it hot, keeping it fresh, and jumping right into all the March Madness. So here we go.
Hello, friends. I'm Jim Nance, and I'll welcome you to a tradition unlike any other.
He's heating up.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!
He's on fire. Cristiano Ronaldo. Sensational. Boom shakalaka.
You believe in miracles? Yes! There it goes. See ya.
He's heating up.
Trying to get open, fires away.
Fire! It's over. The Bulls win at the buzzer. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Welcome to episode 43 of the Heating Up podcast. And I got to tell you, I'm feeling the March Madness. I'm feeling good, and I am excited. But before we go in to break down the brackets, I guess we have to talk about Premier League, right? But nobody cares. Who cares? Nobody even watched Premier League last week. None of it matters. But for those of you that weren't watching Premier League, Tottenham did get the fucking doors blown off them. They lost 3-0. So basically went from looking as good as they've ever looked to the next week looking probably the worst I've ever seen them play against Big Ange. Everybody was healthy, so there's really no excuse. Van de Ven, whatever, sat out. They're not that great of a team, but whatever. I had it written off as a trap game, and I'm not going to be too worried unless we look like shit coming back off the international break. So we have 2 weeks off to get our shit together. All of our players have been now brought up to their respective countries, which is pretty exciting for the first time. So that means we are looking good. The players are looking good, and we just completely shit down our leg before a break. So it's one of those things, is it good to go into a break hot and then lose momentum?
No.
I don't think so, right? You kind of want to get that. Yeah, you want to get that trap game out of the way. Bad loss. And I'm going to see them in a couple weeks, so I kind of want them to get their shit together. So it was embarrassing. It was fucking terrible, and I couldn't watch the second half.
There's nothing like traveling across the ocean to see your team lose. I'll tell you that much. What a feeling. What a vibe.
Sarah, do you know what that feels like?
Can't say I'm international or not international here. It's been a long day, domestic here, but yeah, can't say relate, but I'm trying my best here.
You gotta try it.
Yeah. It feels good to fly all the way to London and you see a game in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, right? You ever seen a team lose there, Mike?
Yeah, it turns out. Yeah, I did actually. It took me actually 2 attempts to fly to London just to see the Bills lose. Very exciting.
If my favorite player ends up tearing his ACL on that field, you or I are forever banned from going to watch a team we care about in London.
Hold on. It was a broken leg. He broke his leg, Matt Milano.
Sorry.
Let's get it right. Get the injuries right. You can heal from a broken bone. You come back stronger.
That's true. I've heard that. I think actually our resident doctor, should probably stay out of this and should let you and I take care of what happens after broken bones.
Yeah, listen, I've watched Scrubs. I know exactly how everybody heals. We're gonna be just fine, coming back better than ever. And so will all the guys that tear their or break their bones at your game, Sasha. You'll be fine.
Let's hope not. So before we get into the real cherry on top here, we got to talk about NFL stuff because there's still a lot of moving and shaking going on. Every quarterback in the state of Pennsylvania seems to be shifting, and it's, I guess, kind of exciting for them.
I guess.
Who cares? Maybe everybody has a new backup.
I feel like that's what's so weird to me. The Kenny Pickett situation, for those who don't know, going to the Eagles, I feel like he's so early in his career still. I mean, I know he had to get out of Pittsburgh because it sounds like he felt he was going to be back up to Russell Wilson. But now you're just going behind a even better system, franchise quarterback, Jalen Hurts at the Eagles. So I know he has a ways to go and mature, but I mean, I think he had starter quarterback material over the past few years, questionable at times. And now it just seems this might be setting him back further.
All I could think about is that both of these backups felt like they went to the wrong team. It felt like Fields would have been a way better fit as a backup in that system as a running quarterback with a great coach, a good offensive line, and maybe Pickett could have been good in for the Steelers, learn behind Russ a little bit and actually have that, stay as much as you would learn stable coach.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
But obviously, I think I guess who has a better chance of actually playing this year? I mean, Hurts has maintained himself pretty well and has always been relatively healthy. But obviously, I don't think anybody is that excited. I don't know any Steelers fans that are that pumped about Russ this season.
I will tell you that my prediction will be Fields will not play more than 51% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Because that trade, that 6th rounder turns into a 4th rounder if he does. So you can pencil in Russell Wilson for 50% of the snaps minimum. So he'll play 8 weeks or 9 weeks, whatever amount of weeks.
If there's some sort of injury, you think that they would move somewhere else to make sure? Like how important is that 2 rounds worth of a pick?
Yeah, well, I mean, to go from 6 to 4 it's a big jump. I mean, there's a lot of great value in the 4th and 5th rounds. I feel like 6 and 7 are kind of, those are more like practice squad guys, 3rd string guys, special teams guys, but you can get potential starters in the 4th and 5th. But the Steelers are going to be trying to compete. I think they're in the toughest division in the NFL now. Like, as it's all shaking out, like the Bengals are going to get Burrow back. The Ravens may be taking a step back, but they had the best record in the AFC last year. And the Browns, Deshaun Watson, I don't know. Their team is adding talent left and right. But Pittsburgh always competes, so they're going to do whatever it is to win. But I'm just saying, I think they're going into it like, Russ, you're the starter. And, ideally, the situation is that if it all goes south, they're going to let him kind of sink that ship till about week 9. And then it's going to be Fields. That would be my guess. Yeah. But I don't know.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then, Sarah, your Cowboys still kind of doing nothing except maybe leaking stories about potential legal issues?
Yeah, I mean, we're not only not doing anything positive, we're just continuing to lose. Like, things are so bad there. Leighton Vander Esch decided to retire on us because he was like, "I've had enough of this."
You mean Sean Lee? You mean Sean Lee 2.0?
Essentially, yeah. This was like the extreme version. He was accelerated and everything. But yeah, I mean, we kind of saw the writing on the wall for that one, and he's been pretty beat up even before this. So I'm not sure how much of a loss it was, but I mean, he was a good leader on the field for the defense. So on a team that's lost quite a bit to mostly the Commanders this year, it does hurt a little bit to not have him in that locker room. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I hate seeing all this stuff about how Derrick Henry really, he wanted to go to Dallas. He felt it'd be a good fit. There were some pictures of him like out with Dak Prescott recently, and I'm like, this is quite the tease here. And it sounds like the Cowboys didn't even reach out to him, is from what I'm seeing there. And even if they did, I don't think they were willing to spend the money on it. So I'm just still continue to be very confused on what the game plan is here. Are we rebuilding? What's happening with, Dak's in limbo situation here with the legal issues? It's not good. I'm putting all my energy into March Madness because if I think about it too much, it's just wallowing in a space that I'm sure you know all too well, Sasha.
Yes.
Right now.
Rude. Don't
Mike
need to be catching strays here.
Mike is trying to hype us up.
Not me with my amazing Buffalo Bills who've never lost.
I gotta tell you, you're an all-time outside of the season. You're an all-time positive vibes guy here. Usually, like during the season, you're like, I know what's going to happen. I know this team. We're all going to lose. And I feel like every text we send, you're like, what are you guys getting so upset about? This is going to be wonderful.
That's it. Hope springs, whatever that's saying that I still 2 episodes later can't figure out. Hope springs eternal, baby. Who knows? Who knows? The draft, people develop, guys come out of nowhere. I think we fast forward, ready, Sarah? And we're going to be doing a podcast where one of the segments is how happy you are that you didn't sign Derrick Henry. Put a pin in that.
Put that in.
That's happening.
I'll mark my calendar now.
Nothing like a 30-year-old running back, huh? That's what really gets everybody. That is a waste of money. I'm telling you.
It is.
And then I don't mean this in a bad way, but because I honestly don't know. This is a real question. Who is your starting running back at the moment?
I think the plan is Dowdle, but I'm not like that's the plan. I heard that they pretend. I don't think they would bring Zeke back as the starting running back, but maybe to pick up some carries. But that's yeah. And then Deuce Vaughn sitting behind him there. So that's the plan right now.
Nice.
I honestly think Trey Lance might be a better option.
Yeah. Maybe even Cooper Rush. Maybe.
He has a perfect name.
Yeah.
Great name.
It's right there.
But other than that, I know, Mike, you've been pretty excited about a potential big receiver signing. So you got one. Curtis Samuel, huh? You got him. You got your guy.
I wouldn't call him big. He's also 5'11". It's just the same archetype as Diggs and Shakir, but that's okay. Curtis Samuel had his best season of his career under the offensive coordination of one Joe Brady, who's now our offensive coordinator, and he was drafted by Brandon Beane, and of course was on the Carolina Panthers. There you go. And the tree continues. We'll find him anywhere. We'll find you all over the country. If you play for the Panthers, you can play for the Bills. I think he's going to be good. I'm really excited about it. Our big nasty receiver is coming. We have more cap room than, I'm sure you guys aren't studying the Buffalo Bills cap. A lot going on. We just re-signed Taron Johnson, making him the highest paid nickel corner in the league. We reduced his cap hit by like $4 million. He's only $3.9 million this year. The Bills are at like $11 to $12 million in available cap for this year. That's before we get $10 million for Trey White. So
yeah, I'm so convinced
we're going to
get
cap
is
somebody.
fake. The cap is fake.
Yeah. I mean, the Saints just signed, what's his name?
Chase Young.
Yeah, for $13 million. It's like, haven't they been like in cap hell since Drew Brees?
Yeah.
Forever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bills have there's a big move coming, and we're drafting a receiver first or second round, and there's a ton of receivers, man.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. I'm very excited. The Bills, we're doing all the things I want. We're re-signing our young guys. Everybody's locked up that I want. Like I said, week 1, I'm going to be like puking, telling you how we're going to lose every game and this is horrible. We can't block and the coach sucks. But right now, everything's great. This is my favorite time of the year.
But the sun's shining and everything to look forward to.
That's right.
And in just the same way that you were, that Curtis Samuel used to play for the Panthers, Tre'Davious White is meeting with the Rams, Titans, and New York Giants.
Way, the Giants? No way.
So I don't like that I don't know if he's meeting with them last. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hopefully he makes it out of those Rams and Titans room. I see people who Calvin Ridley signed with the Titans. It's kind of just like, who cares? Why is that? I don't know why people are going there. I don't really trust that team. I don't know. And Calvin Ridley, by all accounts, it seemed like just had struggled because he had a hard time learning a new playbook. So now he's going somewhere new and going to have to learn another new playbook. I don't know what to make of that guy. But I did see a meme online that was pretty funny. It's like, it's okay that Calvin Ridley took a cap hit because he was plus 3,500 to go to the Titans. So he was able to make a little bit of money.
I think Trey White's just hitting up L.A., then he's going on a little Nashville vacation before he settles in New Jersey because he's signing with the Giants. They're all going to the Giants. He will only sign Buffalo Bills.
We'll take good care of him, man. I promise.
That's why you need to start paying more attention to like Bills games because some of those guys are going to play for you as long as Dayball's there.
As long as he's there. Hopefully,
Sarah, we got to figure out your tree. We got to figure out who's your GM? Oh, it's Jerry Jones. Oh, that's why you haven't signed? That's it.
Yeah.
There it is.
We just discovered it.
We just watched that happen in real time.
ESPN. Yeah.
We have no tree. No tree.
Man.
I think Mike McCarthy picked all the fruit off of that tree.
Yeah.
He didn't think it was fruit, though.
Yeah.
He thought it was like some delicious carbohydrate.
This doesn't taste like chili. But since the last time, Brian Burns is official. I do like that. We paid top dollar, but I like the signing. And then all I'm seeing, I've watched enough. Why is JJ McCarthy jumping up these draft boards? And now he's like one of the guys. I watched enough of him play at Michigan, and like I watched his combine. Like he's missing a lot of throws at the combine with no pass rush and no like defense. So it's like, why is this guy? They're like, he's a game manager now. Like what happened? Like I get that he won a lot, but like his offensive line was incredible at Michigan. His receivers were great. Running back was great, and he had like an NFL caliber play caller. And like now it's just like this guy is. This talk about Minnesota, like going up, getting him, the Giants getting him at 6. The Giants have enough experience reaching for a white quarterback that nobody really cares about with the 6th pick. I'm not super pumped about that. So I'm not liking what's going on in the zeitgeist, what's going on in just the cultural speak right now. It makes me pretty unhappy.
They're bad at drafting quarterbacks. It's really hard to draft quarterbacks, and this happens. Trey Lance went 3rd.
Yeah.
out of the Trevor Lawrence draft, which I want to say was 4 years ago now, right?
2021,
right?
3
or 4.
year, yeah.
The only 2 quarterbacks from that draft, or I think it's like that draft and the draft afterwards, or it might be 3 drafts. There's only 2 quarterbacks that are still starting. It's Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy. It's been an absolute disaster for quarterbacks. It's it's the toughest position in professional sports.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks would you say right now, not to throw us off course here, how many do you think are elite? And we don't, you know what's the time? Where are we at? 15? Josh Allen. All right, got it. 15 minutes, 15:47, mark it. But seriously, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, go ahead, Burrow,
Yeah.
Lamar.
Yeah, I guess I think I don't know how much longer that list
CJ
gets.
Stroud is ascending, but I've only seen 1 year. I'm not giving him that.
Jordan Love is maybe ascending into that. Who knows?
Aaron Rodgers is leaving that category and maybe leaving for the White House.
Yeah.
So basically, we're saying like 6 people.
Yeah.
Out of 7 billion people on Earth, only 6 people can be really good at this position. It's impossible. It's almost like they should band together and just like draft O linemen and D linemen in the first round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's tough. It's like saying you're not going to draft a running back in fantasy and then 2 go and you're like, forget it, Austin Eckler, I'm taking him, and he sucks.
It's a really good
best
point.
Analogy I can give you.
Yeah, but it also, just like you said, hope springs eternal. That's everybody gets that excitement about what if this is the guy? Everybody gets they see him on the draft board, like, what if we can't miss this guy? What if he turns into the next Brady? What if he turns into the next whoever? And they just constantly think, like, what if you get the guy? And they spend that draft capital on him, and inevitably they turn into nothing.
It's why Russell Wilson has another starting job. It's like because you've seen him do it once and everybody mostly sucks at it. And, and also when they're great, they're never leaving. Like Mahomes is never leaving. Josh Allen will never leave. Stafford left, but he was at the back end, like really on the back 9. And that was like a crazy situation for him to leave that good. It's an impossible situation. I'd say you'd be better to draft a left tackle, but you're not going to be able to go get a quarterback. So you might as well, you just keep taking these shots every year that you suck until you hit. And it sucks because these guys lose their jobs over it. And like, what are you going to do? Everybody wanted to draft Josh Rosen in the Josh Allen Baker Mayfield draft. Everybody wanted, it's tough.
What can you do? Yeah, so much of it is really
they get paid millions of dollars while they're waiting, Oh, boo-hoo.
But they will figure it out, and luckily, at least one of us in this room has their franchise quarterback.
That's right. We sure do.
Right there. So it is March. That was plenty of football, which is always exciting. But we got to get into March Madness. Brackets dropped. Conference championship week is over, and I just keep falling in love with college basketball again, and keep losing bets doing it, but I keep coming back to that same well. So I love it. I'm excited. Sarah, how you feeling?
Oh my God, this is literally my favorite week of the year. And every year I remember that this is the best week of the absolute year. I'm so excited to watch football. Oh my God, football. I'm so excited to watch.
Me too, Sarah. Me too. I'm excited.
I'm so excited to watch basketball all day. I love printed out my brackets already, had to obviously put them because you cannot, I don't know about you guys, you cannot track your bracket online, especially if you're using like CBS, ESPN, Yahoo. It's not the same. It's just not, I like putting it on there because obviously like my handwriting's bad. So I'm happy I don't have to like go through the days when we used to have to write out our brackets. That's nice. But I'm excited. Got it printed, already over analyzing it. Do you guys go back and change your bracket? Like, do you do a preliminary one and then kind of a consume, or do you have you done your brackets yet? What's your approach?
Shame on me for being on a sports podcast, but this is the year I feel like I know the least about college basketball. I'm very excited to get into it, and it's going to suck me in at like Thursday at 2:00 when I totally don't check out of work. If anybody's listening, but I check out of work and start watching. But I used to get way more into it, but I think I don't know if this is like maturity and like, props to me. Like we don't know what we're doing.
Mm-mm.
It's a total crapshoot. Like I picked a 15. If we talk about it, I'll tell you. I picked a 15 to beat a 2, and I don't think I've ever done that. And my brain kept being like, "Well, they're a 2 seed," and it's like, who cares? It happens every year. Crazy stuff happens. So
Yeah.
no, I don't. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Or at least not this year. The more I feel I know, the more I'll overanalyze.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
It's every time I've ever done it, it's always, it's the lady at the office who's never watched a game of basketball in her life, or my younger sister who, I remember filling out brackets as a kid and she's writing all the names in hilarious, like whatever Pittsburgh, and she's writing Pitts instead of Pitt or whatever. It's just, and it's like, of course she ends up just dominating, but it's like, that's still the most fun thing. It's like, I keep going back and forth. I'm like, is doing a bracket overrated? Why is everybody doing them? But then I see it and I get it in my hands and I'm like, I can't stop. This is the most fun thing, because as ridiculous as it is, there's still that little bit of hope. It's like, but what if? But what if I fucking nail it this year? But what if everything that I think randomly is going to happen just happens, and you can't stop. So basically, it's like kind of realizing now that sports gambling is so ubiquitous and everybody has it on their phones. It's just realizing that, it's impossible to pick this thing. It's like I can't hit a 3-leg parlay. You want me to pick 63 games correctly? Like that's just it's literally never going to happen. But that being said, I absolutely love it. And a little bit of a teaser for the people. We do want to drop this if you guys follow us on Instagram and saw our stories. We are doing a bracket group. So we will continue to post this throughout the week. It is absolutely free to join. You guys got to hop in, click on it's through ESPN. Takes you 5 minutes if you want, or spend all the time. Make as many as you want. Completely free to join. The winner of this bracket will get sent
$10,000.
Hey, 10,000. I think pesos. Maybe we're doing $100 prize.
Oh God!
And you are under no obligation to, but if you see fit, we would love to have you on. We'll give you 5 minutes to talk about whatever your favorite team is. Interview you, get to know you a little bit. So don't feel the need to, but you will have a standing 5 minutes on here if you want to come on. Talk about whatever your favorite team is, basketball, baseball, soccer, football, whatever it is, preseason, midseason. You'll have some minutes where you can come talk about that. But $100 cash prize to whoever wins. Make as many brackets as you want. Tell all your friends. Send it to everybody. Completely free to join. Win $100. Can't lose. Why not? Going to be a whole lot of fun. So everybody join that.
$100.
Send it all around. 100 free cash.
What
free
else
lunch.
do you have to do that you can't put a bracket together for $100?
Can't do it. Send it to everybody. Tell everybody you know. It's going to be a lot of fun. So my favorite thing now, it's like, it's just so easy to gamble on these games. It's so easy to try to pick these games, but the bracket is still so much fun. And there is that chance that, if it does happen, I think ESPN will give you $1 million if you get a perfect bracket, right?
Yeah.
Are they still doing the $1 million?
I don't know. I haven't seen it anymore. I've just always told myself
like a
that.
car. CBS was like a Nissan SUV that you can if you do the.
No, thank you.
I think it was just if you won their bracket or something. I don't know.
$125 grand.
Don't like clicking pop-ups, so I unintentionally don't enter into these.
That's it?
What if we offer $100,000 if anybody gets it correct in ours? Perfect.
Deal. Fine.
I'll double it. Let's make it 200,000.
125 grand. That's a joke. You could put a single dollar and make a parlay in any of these, and it would pay out $10 million.
Should we do? I think I want to do a parlay of all the round one games for $1.
Just see what it is. Why not, Red?
That'd be a good idea.
I'll text you guys later. I'm going to put it together. But then nobody's going to agree. Anyways, do your own thing.
Yeah.
But everybody join for a free bracket.
Yeah, a lot of money. So join, sign up, tell all your friends. We got a whole nother day until the games start on Thursday. You can do this. So tell all your friends, set it around at work. It's going to be a lot of fun. But also, I just kind of got this thing today. It's so weird being in an office around this time of year because it's just weird. You got random ladies I've never really talked to that are like, oh, do you have a bracket filled out? Are you doing brackets? But it's like all of a sudden, I'm talking about taking Indiana State 2 weeks ago, taking the over, and people are looking at me like I've got a fucking problem. So it's just like we got to find a way to normalize these versions of sports gambling. So it's like we just need to find some way to make it where everybody can get around, and I don't look like the weird guy for wanting to, for hoping that Siena covers a net, a plus 18 spread.
Yeah, I feel very confident in saying that probably less than half of my coworkers know that March Madness is even happening. The medical field is not up to date on these sort of things. I've tried many years without success to navigate, start office pools, and everyone's like, "No, what is that? No, no, thank you." So I'm at a new job, so maybe things are different, but yeah, I unfortunately can't even talk about it with people at work because they're just not in the loop on it,
They're
which is
probably
crazy.
busy going to college and being smart.
Doing their job Thursday, Friday.
I actually think I want to check in with you every year just to make sure that's still the case before I have to get any sort of procedure.
Yeah, make sure
they're putting me out, and the doctor's just putting his cell phone with like CBS Sports with the game on my as I'm falling asleep. Yep. He's like, "Hang on, I got money on Providence. Hang on."
Yeah, I guess I would be a little like, I'm going under for my appendix surgery, and the guy's like, "Ah, shit, man, I got FAU +3." I'm like, "Oh, what? No."
He's like, "Countdown from 10, 10, 9. Make your free throws."
So I can't wait. But looking at the bracket just always gets me excited, and it's like I want to root for the upsets. I never care too much, and I make enough brackets too where I feel like I always after Friday I have to start checking them and see which ones are still alive and which ones aren't. Because in the moment, like I'm rooting for my bets and I'm rooting for the upsets. So it's like it's so hard. If Stetson comes out and they're up 6 with like 5 minutes to go, I kind of don't care what my bracket says at the moment. It's like I want Stetson to win. It's like I can't control that part of my body, obviously, unless I have money on UConn that I'm pulling for. But it's like the upsets are what makes it so great. So my strategy is I just kind of buckshot, throw 1,000 darts at the wall, hope a few of them stick. Because, I just want to be rooting for whatever the fun thing is. It's like you got that much basketball. I just want it to be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I root for buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Buzzer beaters.
I think there's a bet you can make on that, guys.
But no
really?
Overtime.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
We don't
overtime throws a whole wrench in everything.
Then all of a sudden, like all the games that were like already late as it is, all of a sudden, like all of them are happening at like the next day, basically at like 1, 2 a.m. And I'm not here for that. We do have to show up at work the next day. So I do want to at least, be able to get some sleep.
So, Mike, while you're pulling up that bet, I did find a very interesting. I wish I could. I forgot to write down the guy who did it, but I did find this very interesting stat on Reddit earlier today. So, if you guys haven't filled out your brackets yet, this one's fun. So, this is in every tournament since 2021, a top 2 seed has lost in the first round to a team with a phallic or euphemistic name. 2021, Oral Roberts defeated Ohio State. 2022, St. Peter's defeated Kentucky. And in 2023, Fairleigh Dickinson defeated Purdue. That's 3 years in a row. Once is happenstance, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. In 2024, number 1 Houston will face number 16 Longwood. So pencil it in. Houston's going down.
I love that.
So,
explain to me though, what phallic thing is South Dakota State? Because that's the 15 I have winning.
Going
south on Dakota. See what we did there?
We're gonna South Dakota. Maybe we can workshop it. We can workshop it.
That's a funny stat. I love people that put the time into that stuff.
Yeah,
I know. Dedication.
They're like, wait, I got something. This is 3 years in a row.
It's not all bad.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. So I also always get very worried. I feel like now it's the cool thing is finding the upsets, and then everybody seems to have the same upsets. So I get in my brain that it's going to happen. Everybody's talking about. I feel like people are talking about New Mexico State. Everybody's talking about what's the other one that I can't get. A lot of people are talking about Duquesne, and then James Madison. There's a lot of trendy upsets where I feel like as soon as I start seeing 40 different people talk about that. It's like you got to go the other way, right? You just need to not bet the upset. But then if you don't bet the upset, like if Wisconsin beats JMU, then you're like, I feel like you're in a lose-lose. If you pick JMU, everybody picked JMU. If you pick Wisconsin and JMU wins, you're like, everybody was talking about that. I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah. I mean, the 5 versus 12 has been like, obviously we all know there's, crazy stats. It's a lock every year, but like you still only have a 25% chance of getting it right, and it's stressful. Like I've definitely had years where I've gone overboard and taken like 3 out of the 4, and then like the one I don't pick is always the one that ends up winning. But so it's like that's always a strategy where it's like, do you want to go with that or not? And then I find it's challenging because you got to look into the next round sometimes, right? Like I really want to take JMU over Wisconsin, but then we have Duke UVM. I don't think UVM's upsetting Duke. Like I don't really want to pick Duke because I just don't like Duke, to make it on from there. So I feel like JMU's not going to beat them. So do I go back with Wisconsin? Like I start playing like 2D chess here with myself on it because I start looking ahead when in the end, I'm like, we don't know what's going to happen to any of this. I feel like Mike said, I feel like I have a little maturity in it now where I'm like not so indecisive about it because I'm like, it is a crapshoot, this tournament. It's, very few things are guaranteed, if any. And that's what makes it so fun, but also challenging, obviously.
Proud of you, Sarah. Proud of you. You're maturing.
Yeah.
And Vermont is going to win. Go Catamounts. Of my, I guess I can call it alma mater-ish. I was there for 4 years. They are going to beat Duke because fuck Duke. So I would like a JMU Vermont matchup there.
Can I give you? I'll give you my 2 cents of how I'm going to go about this, which Sasha was live and in person last year as I crashed and burned. So be careful out there. Don't for picking your brackets. Don't get so obsessed with the seeds. Like, see if you can get look ahead lines and look at the lines. If you gamble at all, and it's a 6 and an 11 seed, and you're like, well, I can't take the 11, but the spread's 1.5. It's a pick'em.
Yeah,
this is basketball, and Vegas isn't playing. They don't care who's what seed. They've done all the work. That's the thing with these 5-12s. A lot of these are 1-2 point spreads. It's what you gotta be. If you go through, I bet you'll see very few spreads over 5.
It's a really good point. Really good point. I hadn't thought of that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's this year, Clemson, 6 seed, New Mexico State. So Yahoo, if you're doing a bracket on there, does show you the lines, which was nice. This was the first year I actually knew that they did that.
Nice.
And that actually helped me more than the little analysis button. Sometimes I look at the analysis on CBS, ESPN, where it shows the rankings, points per game, and stuff like that. But I actually found the lines to be the most helpful, to your point, Mike. And I'm pretty sure when I looked the other day, New Mexico was favored by 4.5. It was minus 4.5 or something, which Clemson is clearly the lower seed. I don't know if that's changed since then. I didn't pull it up before I started talking about this, but
Clemson's the 6, yeah.
Yeah, they're the 6. No, their seed hasn't changed since Sunday. I know that.
Oh,
but
sorry.
They were New Mexico. The line,
They're still
the
6.
line. The line was, I think, minus 4.5 in New Mexico favor. So, just to your point here, if you're just looking at the seeds, you might get tripped up on that one. I still took Clemson, obviously, but
Me too. Yeah, no, I'm looking through it now because I've tried to be careful and not dive in too hard because I'm gonna start betting. But I'm trying to find a good one. For instance, Western Kentucky is only a 14.5 point underdog to Marquette. And Marquette's a 2 seed. You would think that would be 27 points. It's not. It doesn't mean it's doable, but that would be okay, maybe that's a 15 that can do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these spreads that are really close. A lot of them that are close.
Yeah.
I like that. That makes me that also feels like I'm doing something smart. I'm going to make these based on some actual mathematical analysis.
Yeah, let the casinos help you out. That's what their job is, to make money. And I'll give you one last thing before you pick your. This is quite literally how I formed my bracket. There is a here's the thing. Adjusted offensive efficiency and adjusted defensive efficiency for KenPom. These are ratings that they follow in teams throughout the year. I believe it's the top ranked 37th or better in basically they're in the top X percent.
Mm-hmm.
The teams that meet the qualifications of being top 21, here it is, top 21 in offense and top 37 in defense. Here they are. UConn, Purdue, and this is in order. Duke, Arizona, Auburn, Creighton, Houston, and Marquette. Now, whatever, those are all top seeds. I found the interesting one to be, here are 5 teams that did particularly poorly in these stats. Iowa State, Illinois, Alabama, Kentucky, and Baylor. So KenPom is usually really good. Like I have won some bets, and I feel like if I had followed it more strictly, I actually would have done better in my brackets. So watch out for those, because those 5 teams are pretty highly seeded. I think Illinois is the team I picked against in the first round because of that. Or Iowa State's a 2 seed. I picked South Dakota because they're the worst. They're 55th.
Wow.
And they are also, I think that part of the reason they're so highly ranked is because they won their conference tournament. So it's like they managed to pull that off. But that also means they've played a lot of games. They're coming in high, and they're thought of, a lot of recency bias and how good they just looked in a tournament. But, they may very well turn back into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
And conference champions are a lot of times flame out.
Yeah.
Well, especially teams like NC State, who had to play so many games in a row to get to that point. I think they maybe will pull off a win from there, but they're going to be fatigued and peter out. And probably same goes for Wisconsin. It's just a lot. Very rarely do teams make a deep push, through their conference tournament and continue that on, through the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I imagine you guys saw that very rude stat, the taking shots at the Wizards, that the NC State has more wins in that stadium than their Wizards do this year. NC State has won 5 games. Yeah, Washington has won 4 home games. So
do you guys have any team that like you just like always used to pick them in your brackets as kids, so you pick them?
Pitt was mine always.
So NC State and Xavier were mine. Sarah, did you have any?
Syracuse. That's because I was a fan, and they're not even in it this year, so that makes things a little bit easier for me.
Yeah.
I have NC State in the Sweet 16 strictly because I always take NC State when they're in there. Love it. Oh.
Love it.
Can everybody hear me?
I also feel like I always need to. No, I can't. I always feel like I need to pick also one school and team that I've never heard of before, because I feel like that's usually a team that will pull off an upset. So this year for me, it's McNeese State. I also have just heard that Gonzaga, this is the most beatable Gonzaga team that there's been in a while.
Yeah.
So it's like McNeese, I don't know where they are. I don't know what state they're in. I don't know anything about them. But because of that, I'm going to pick them to win a game.
Oh, yeah. I was riding with McNeese, too, because I kept betting on them in their conference tournament game, which they won. They got the at-large bid, so now I'm, like, a huge fan of them. And thinking they're way better than they are.
We got to get you some McNeese merch.
Any fans out there, reach out. But
beautiful.
I feel like this year, for me, I'm struggling with the tournament because growing up, I was always a Syracuse basketball fan, so I watch a lot of the Big East and ACC. And that's still primarily, like, if I'm just turning college basketball on, I'll watch, like, a Big East game or an ACC. And this year, only 3 Big East teams, 5 ACC teams. That's, like, record lows for both of those conferences. And I don't know if that's going to hurt me or help me here because I'm taking them all, but there's less of them for me to take because I feel like Mike said, because I watched that conference, whether it was recency bias or just bias in general, I would always pick them because I just felt like they were the superior basketball schools. So I would always be taking ACC Big East teams, riding with them no matter what. And there's less of them this year. I don't know what the selection committee was doing with their favor towards the Mountain West this year. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for them and, kind of just how far. I'll be interested to see how the Big East has some really solid teams in there with UConn, Marquette, Creighton. If they all can make a big run, and make it 3 out of the 4 Final Four teams, I think that would be just great, kind of to spite them.
Really shove it in their face. It's got to be the best job ever. It's like being a weatherman, but nobody knows who you are. It's like you just get to go out there, be totally wrong, get people really, really upset, and just never lose your job. Like you basically get to do whatever you want, pick a couple at-large teams, make some people really upset, and then you just go about your business.
Mm-hmm. In 4th grade, I wrote that I wanted to be a bracketologist as one of my career choices.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
Yep. That's really, really
I was
cool.
gunning for Joe Lenardi in the early days.
You have to be the first person ever to be like, I want to be a bracketologist and then end up being a doctor. Usually people are like, I'm going to be a doctor and then end up just with some douchey sports podcast. Couldn't be us, right?
I think I still would rather be a bracketologist.
You're a different ologist.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, going into we're going to close out. We're coming in off a big win from week 1. Sarah's Grizzlies pulled it off. I got the Suns, and then Dallas minus 3.5 in that last week. So big winners if you tailed us for each check last week.
50?
Crushed them.
Yeah.
Crushed them. So this week, we got a whole new week ahead of us. We got some new picks. So honestly, unfortunately, we can't bet this one because we are located in New York State. But I would be saying that Howard tonight is going to crush Wagner. Wagner is the lowest ranked team that made the tournament, according to all the metrics. So I think Howard's going to absolutely roll over them, but being based in New York, we cannot actually make that pick. So my official pick for Heat Check is going to be Colorado -2.5 over Boise State. I just watched Colorado in their conference championship game, and I think it's probably recency bias, but I like them. I'm rooting for them, and I think they're going to steamroll Boise State and then also win their next game after that, getting into the tournament.
I like it.
What's the spread for the Howard game, just so I know? Wait.
I don't. Here I am talking about. I was just feeling that I'm like,
What's the spread for the Howard game? The spread, Howard.
I can't even see it. I think it was 2.5. I think it was 2.5. But we can't. We can't bet it in New York.
Oh, never mind.
Sarah, what do you got for this week?
My pick. Well, first you just had me really confused because I was like, wait, Colorado for a second? Aren't they playing Virginia? But Virginia tonight is playing Colorado State in the playing game at the late game, 9-10. I probably won't be up. But I'm going Virginia money line. They are not favored. The last time I looked, I think it was Colorado State -2.5, I believe. But again, here I am. I literally was just talking about me having ACC bias, and I just feel like Virginia might be the superior team. It's all going to come out how they score literally no points. Tight defense, slow game. So it's going to be, I'm not really sure about Colorado State's offensive production, but I feel like if Virginia can get a way to control the game, and usually these teams start out a little nervous, like NCAA tournament, first night, so I feel like it could play to their advantage. If Colorado State comes out a little sluggish, Virginia can keep it low, keep the points low, play slow. I think it can come in their favor.
Absolutely. And not to plug another podcast, but did you guys see that you guys follow Jersey Jerry at all? You guys see what his Jerry After Dark stream is tonight?
No, I didn't see it.
That for the Colorado State Virginia game, every basket that's scored, he has to eat a fried cheese curd, and every commercial break, he has to run a suicide.
Oh my God.
So it's basically just a vomit stream, but very funny. So I'm really hoping that game goes like triple overtime and there's like 200 points.
That guy's the best.
So shout out Jersey Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike, how are you closing us out?
I'm not going college. I'm going NBA.
That'll work.
Houston Rockets -10 at the Wizards.
Ooh, -10.
Wizards stink. No Kyle
They
Kuzma.
are bad.
I love the Rockets. I think they're going to blow them out. I think the Wizards that's what they do. They show up and then they lose by 20.
They can't stop losing, especially at home. So beautiful.
Yeah,
so
that's easy.
Going for 2 weeks in a row. We got Colorado -2.5, Virginia money line, and Houston -10. So we will put that in, get that locked together. So again, we appreciate you guys listening. Do not forget to join our bracket madness on the Heating Up. It will be on our Instagram stories. We'll also get that on TikTok for you, which we just started today. We do have a new TikTok. We'll be posting some clips everywhere. Follow us, the Heating Up Pod, Instagram. Share us. Tell everybody. Tell your friends. And this is a great way to get involved today. Get your bracket, free to join. Win $100 if you got the best bracket in the group. So we love you. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you next week.